Here, warmly welcome you all, where we will going to pursue ahead this market equilibrium, a break-even point where we have merging of lines of two forces, supply and demand, which determines the purchasing power to production cost mechanism recovery. So warmly welcome you if it marks the negative influence of shift, decrease
and equilibrium, a state of balance and rest for buyer and seller, where they intersect with a resting point and break-even point of price and quantity manufacturing here. Market equilibrium, price and quantity equilibrium, chain effects, because it is a series of the influence of demand and supply, and this time it is done as a although together, so called simultaneously. Every action of a buyer has a supplier reaction. Every initiative of a supplier marks the influence on the buyer. So hereby we are discussing the shifts of demand and supply curve although together. Time we have marked the market equilibrium, and this time shift of demand curve will be more than the shift of the supply curve, and we will discuss the decrease one this time.
Hereby, scholars, we have again assembled, and this is the economics class which we have to cover up. And I am giving you one presentation, and that marks you the market equilibrium. And this is time we have one more situation to solve for market equilibrium, perfect competition. And let's begin with the class. That it's economics class, and we are going to discuss market equilibrium, perfect competition. And perfect competition have the market forces to decide the price determination, because no one can influence price. Industry is price maker and firm is price taker. So how does the market equilibrium get influence of the market forces? And market forces are two, as you all know, that this is one is demand and another is supply. And today we will discuss they both shift together. That is chain effects, and that representing shift of two, so then it's simultaneously. So what we will study, the decrease in supply is less as compared to decrease in demand. And this talk about the fourth situation, that decrease is taking place in both market forces, but decrease in demand is more as compared to decrease in supply. मार्केट की फोर्स में बायर्स की डिक्रीज ज़्यादा है, बायर क्वांटिटी डिक्रीज है, और सप्लायर की क्वांटिटी भी डिक्रीज है, पर बायर ज़्यादा डिक्रीज कर रहा है. So this is the board presentation of graphical representation for situation number 4. Decrease in supply is less than decrease in demand, or you can say decrease in demand is more than decrease in supply. Let's firstly determine our original equilibrium. Original supply curve, original demand curve. When they both intersect to each other, then new equilibrium will be later on discussed. That will discuss E point. And this E point, one equilibrium formed, and this mark you with original equilibrium. And that original equilibrium we're going to deliver you one price, that is P1, and then one quantity, that will be Q1. Now ultimately we have to show the effect, and this effect means decrease in supply and decrease in demand. And we have to show decrease in supply first. So the supply decreases leftward. So we have prepared one leftward curve. Then decrease in demand is also leftward, but that shows one thing more, कि it is more than supply. So that means that it should be more. So we have prepared more. इसका distance ज़्यादा रखेंगे इस distance से. First thing clarified. We have drawn original demand curve, supply curve, and then we have whole change effect, new equilibrium have to be determined, so we need shift in demand curve. we have formed shift in supply curve. Now look where they get intersect, it's here. New equilibrium, we have price P2 and we have Q1 to Q2 because new equilibrium determined. So new equilibrium determined, both have checked with. Now check, equilibrium is shifting backward. Quantity and your price, both are shifting backward. Both are shifting backward. Check that they both are shifting backward. Because now check out the reason. ऐसा क्यों हो रहा है? जब आपकी डिक्रीज इन डिमांड है, डिमांड डिक्रीज कर रही है मोर देन सप्लाई, तो देन दैट मीन्स एक्सेस सप्लाई, योर सप्लाई इज मोर एंड योर डिमांड इज लेस. Ultimately, producer will decide to fall down the price in order to have sales, in order to bring the buyer in the mood of buying or purchasing. Then fall in price will take place due to excess supply and demand is low. So then in order to the demand attraction, prices are low now. So that will lead to demand extension. Excess supply है, सामान ज्यादा है, तो मार्केट में डिमांड नहीं है, तो प्राइस फॉल कर जाएंगे. जब प्राइस फॉल कर जाएंगे तो अल्टीमेटली बायर उस पोजीशन में कहाँ मूव करेगा? एक्सटेंशन पॉइंट पे, जल्दी से परचेसिंग करेगा. अब इस एक्सेस पॉइंट को भी एक प्रॉब्लम है कि प्रोड्यूसर का प्रॉफिट कम होता जाएगा. जब प्राइस फॉल कर गए हैं तो सप्लाई कॉन्ट्रैक्ट कर जाएगी and then ultimately these will going to show it effect that price will fall, quantity will ultimately going to decrease and a new equilibrium will form, and this point will be known as your E2, and this is new equilibrium. Ultimately it means to say that market restore कर लेती है अपने आप को by correcting demand and supply, but it has an influence, एक पॉइंट पर इन्फ्लुएंस दिखाती है पर अपने आप को फिर मार्केट इक्विलिब्रियम में रिस्टोर कर लेती है, क्योंकि प्राइस मैनेजमेंट डिटर्मिनेशन फेयर प्ले है कंपटीशन में परफेक्ट, क्योंकि नंबर ऑफ बायर्स एंड नंबर ऑफ सेलर्स है. सो हैव अ जूम बोर्ड लुक and with a promise to see you again soon, I am concluding it for this class. And this is situation number 4. We will discuss 5 and 6 in next phases. So I warmly welcome you for that. Thank you for visiting. See you again soon.
Hereby, we have to conclude it for the session, and this time we marked the presence of both the factors of the market forces pushes and pulls each other. Every initiative have an outcome, and every action has a reaction. So this even phase by the market, and which set up the new equilibrium, and with the prevailing circumstances, the market has the fair play, and fair play marks under the perfect competition with market forces. So hereby we are concluding it for today by saying thank you for visiting. See you again soon.